We are joined by Daniel Horwitz. He's the partner at Lankler Carragher. Horwitz knows a few things about high-profile defense cases. He represented both Bernie Madoff and also David Letterman. Dan, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me again.
What do you think are the chances that he'll be granted bail?
I think he's got a good argument. What he's proposed is essentially house arrest. The big issue here is that we don't have an extradition treaty with France. So once he's gone, like Roman Polanski, the prosecutors have no way of getting this guy back. Having said that, he's going to put up a lot of cash. He's going to essentially be locked down in home arrest with 24-hour guards who would have a panic button directly to the police department. And let's face it, this guy is public enemy #1. How is he ever going to get out of the country? So I think he's got a relatively good chance of...
There's nothing more he could offer. That's about it.
I think that's about it. I mean, essentially what he's fighting for is, instead of staying in a jail cell at Rikers Island, to stay at a jail cell at his daughter's house. And that's really what the difference here is.
If he's denied bail, though, is that it? He can't reapply?
No, he'll get another bite at the apple. Assuming he gets indicted, he would have an opportunity to appeal this decision, today's decision, if he loses, to an appellate judge. So he's got a couple of more rounds to go.
What would be the next step if he is granted bail?
If he's granted bail, and the next step would be, is he going to be indicted? And I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point. So the next step is both sides would gear up for a trial, for a battle. There would be some motions that the defense would file, maybe to dismiss the indictment, to get discovery, to get some of the forensic evidence.
You say that's key, though, the forensic evidence.
I think the key, right, this case is going to turn on, is it a he said, she said? Is it the victim's word against Strauss-Kahn's word? Or is there forensic evidence? Is there DNA? Is there semen? Is there blood? Are there torn clothes? Is there anything out there to support what this woman is going to say happened to her?
If it turns to a he said, she said, who does that usually lean towards then?
Well, it's tough. I mean, those cases are very tough to prove, but I must tell you that the Manhattan DA's office has an outstanding track record of winning he said, she said cases. I mean, those are very difficult cases to win, where you have a very sympathetic victim, and in this case...
We don't know much about yet.
We don't know much about her, but I think it's fair to say that whatever happened to her, she immediately ran to her co-workers and told them about what happened. And all of those people would be able to come in and say, this woman just came to me, she said this, she was upset, she was crying, this is what she said. All of that evidence would come in a trial.
Okay. Dan, thank you very much. Appreciate you stopping by.
Happy to be here. Thanks very much.
Dan Horwitz, who represented Bernie Madoff, and as we've talked about, as well as David Letterman.